Hey everyone, welcome back. The new season is finally here, and with it comes some of the biggest meta updates that we've ever seen in Pokemon Go. As you can tell by the team that I'm running today, it is a very wild meta. I decided to use Shadow Jumpluff as one of the first Pokemon I used, but not only that, I have Gastrodon and Dunsparce, two Pokemon that almost had no play before this update, so let's see how this team can do and see what we can do in this new meta. Alright, let's get into the first game of the entire season here. Shadow Jumpluff into Shadow Tentacruel, a terrible lead. Hopefully safe swapping Dunsparce will be able to be some use of us this game. We do see that they respond with a Shadow Cacturn. Alright, well this isn't looking amazing, but I think with this rollout buff, there's a chance we might be able to fast move them down if we can land a Rock Slide against this. Obviously they are very squishy, but they have a lot of fast move pressure with the newly buffed Sucker Punch. It's basically like what Counter used to be before they nerfed it this season, so it is a very strong move. It does a lot of fast move pressure, and now we get to another Rock Slide here. Are they going to let this go? Are they going to shield it? That's going to be the big question here. And they let it go. I get the full rollout down, and we flip switch advantage against that Shadow Tentacruel. This is amazing because we kind of had to do that, right? If we wanted any play, Jumpluff is not very strong into poison types, so getting to have switch advantage here and making sure our Gastrodon gets aligned on this should be pretty useful for us this game. We do get a shield back with this drill run, but they get a massive farm down here, and Shadow Scald will do a lot of damage to our Gastrodon, even though we are somewhat bulky. It's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to two-shot us if they can happen to get to another one, but luckily we do have a shield advantage still, and in comes their final Pokemon here. It's going to be a Shadow Sableye. A very real team from our opponent. Very try-hard battles already this early on in the season. I kind of have to show this up. A Power Gem would almost one-shot us at this point, and they go for a bait, a foul play. It wouldn't have knocked us out, obviously, but it would have done a lot of damage. I throw right before they get to another move because I want to make sure that I can reach some energy against that Tentacruel as well. My lose condition this game would be letting them farm me down with this Tentacruel and then having them have a Scald for my Gastrodon. So what I want to do is I want to overfarm as much as I could against that Sableye and start spamming out moves against this Tentacruel. Obviously, Fairy Wind did get a damage increase. It's not going to matter too much in this matchup, though, because we get to another Aerialist, we knock out the Tentacruel, and somehow take the win against a Shadow Tentacruel in the lead against our Jumpluff. GG's to our opponent. Very fun game for a start to the season here. Alright, next match we have the Shadow Jumpluff into the non-Shadow Machamp. Alright, very interesting Pokemon to see. Obviously, Karate Chop is another one of the new best moves in the game. We get to this move before they get a Stone Edge, but we have to keep in mind, if they do go for a bait, they can get to a Stone Edge very quickly, and there's a chance they're also running Rock Slide, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Machamp now. Luckily, Rock Slide did get a bit of a damage decrease, so it wouldn't be as strong as normal, and they do bait us with a Cross Chop there. Unfortunately, though, I make a bit of a misplay here. I forgot in the moment that they'd get this move after 10 Karate Chops if they go for the bait with the Cross Chop, so I did have to shield that up. I knew after I got for that CMP there, I made a huge mistake, so we shielded it up, throw this Aerialist just to get this thing out of the way, hopefully open up our Dunsparce later on, and now we'll see how much play we're going to have this game. They come in with a Shadow for Alligator, not exactly the best answer to a Jumpluff, but it is going to be able to sponge my energy because they have that shield, and they do have the ability to maybe Ice Beam me at this point. If they do Ice Beam me, though, I know for a fact that I can take this out with my Dunsparce. We resist fast move pressure from this thing, and if they reveal their moveset, I know it's not going to have Crunch, or they do have Crunch here. Actually, that's not going to even knock us out at this point. Kind of wish I didn't CMP this Aerialist. I could have gone for that Energy Ball and knocked out this Feraligatr, but that's still fine. They actually had a massive farm down against us, maybe a bit of a misplay on our part, and now I can go for a Mud Slap down. Mud Slap does so much fast move pressure this season. It's going to be able to fast move down this Gator probably after 2 Mud Slaps, and in comes that second one. We have an energy lead going into the backline. Their final Pokemon is shown. It is a Goodra. Once we land this Body Slam, it's not going to do too much damage because Body Slam also got nerfed this season, but it will chip it down into a range where our Dunsparce can kind of just knock it out with the Drill Run. These rollouts will be able to chip them down quite a bit. Dunsparce used to be terrible in these neutral situations, but fortunately after this rollout buff, if you're throwing Drill Run and Rollout, it does a lot of work, more than you might expect. Alright, another terrible lead here this game. A lot of honestly terrible leads to start off this season. We safe swapped our Dunsparce, and in comes the Shadow Machamp. This is not looking great for us. Obviously, we don't have much fast move pressure with the rollout, but we are going to be able to get to these drill runs pretty quickly, hopefully drawing a shield from this. Shield advantage is like our one way to win this game. If I can get shield advantage here, maybe there's a chance Gastrodon can sweep the backline. They do knock us out there, unfortunately, and in comes our Jumpluff. A Stone Edge would basically one-shot us at this point. It probably wouldn't quite one-shot us from full health. Oh, they have Rock Slide. Okay, well, that definitely doesn't knock us out in one hit, but it will do a lot more damage than I'd be comfortable with, and they end up throwing another Rock Slide here. I want to overfarm and have energy on Jumpluff if I can. I know it's already kind of useless against that A-Slash, so I don't really mind taking this damage. Now I almost have an energy ball loaded. I'm going to be able to knock out this Machamp, and hopefully our Gastrodon in the back is going to have some play. In comes that A-Slash, and their final Pokemon, they are AVA weak to ground type damage. We're going to Mud Slap all the way down on this Clodsire. Well, probably not all the way down. We need to throw a Earth Power here if we want to knock them out anytime soon. But we're going to try to Mud Slap this all the way into the range where we can knock them out with an Earth Power. They try to bait with a Stone Edge. That's fantastic fantastic to see. We can go for this move. I've seen some people run Water Pulse, but I think Earth Power is actually a very strong move to run on Gastrodon, and they end up shielding that attack. Now that I have a shield left over still, I'm going to shield myself. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible so I can Earth Power that A-Slash, and I still have energy on Jumpluff if I need it later on. I'm going to overfarm. In fact, I get that full farm down actually against Clodsire. That's crazy. One of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game. Gastrodon just able to fast move all the way down. An Earth Power is going to come through. Not quite one-shot this A-Slash, but the next Mud Slap is going to knock them out. GG's to our opponent. Once again, overcoming some of the worst matchups we could see with our Jumpluff in the lead. Well, speaking of one of the worst matchups, this is a Fire-type Pokemon. We don't want to see this in the slightest. We are not doing any damage with either Fairy or Grass-type damage with Jumpluff, so I instantly swap out to our Dunsparce, and in comes a Razor Leafer. Grotle is a very interesting Pokemon to see. At the start of the season, you see all of these wild Pokemon that you wouldn't see normally at the top of the leaderboard, but Grotle actually is a little bit strong here, because obviously Rock Slide, not the best move. I can't throw a Drill Run because it's resisted, and Rollouts aren't going to be able to fast move them down at this point. With that said, though, I think I can at least make something happen here. Maybe draw a shield from this Grotle and make it so that we're not in the worst position ever. And if I can get some sort of switch or shield advantage this game, maybe we can still win. And oh, okay, I actually forgot. I get a full fast move down because I guess that's just how strong this move is. And in comes Vigoroth. What the heck? Vigoroth's supposed to be dead. Counter got nerfed. Body Slam got nerfed. Rock Slide got nerfed. What is this Pokemon doing here right now? I'm very happy to have switch advantage though, because I can Mud Slap down that Victini and I can align my Jumpluff here. And after landing that Drill Run, I should actually be able to knock them out with a move from my Jumpluff. In comes that Victini. I know they might have access to some sort of heavy hitting coverage move. I don't really know this thing's moveset. I'm just going to shield this up just in case, but in comes the V-Create. It's going to lower their defense stat, and now we can fast move them all the way down, have energy for that Vigoroth when it comes back in, and I want to guarantee a shield from this just so I know I can go for an energy ball later on and knock them out. This Earth Power will basically knock them out if they let it through. Unfortunately, though, they do shield it up, but that's fine. Now that shields are down, I know that I can just go for an energy ball and knock them out. Body Slam might not even be enough to knock us out here. Obviously, Body Slam did get nerfed this season. They go for a Bulldoze! What the heck is this? They not only running Vigoroth, they're running the worst move it could possibly have. Okay, well that's early season shenanigans for you guys. I guess we get to Fairy Wind down the Vigoroth there at the end and take the win against a very crazy team. In the next game against another terrible lead, the Cinderace. Why can't we catch a break with these leads here today? This is one of the worst case scenarios because Fire type obviously resists both our Grass type damage and our Fairy type damage with our Jumpluff, but they are staying in with our Dunsparce safe swap. Look how much damage these rollouts do now. Honestly, rollout in the past used to do nothing here, so I'm very happy to see this fast move pressure actually kind of adding up, and they go for a Flame Charge. I know this thing can have Focus Blast, but I wasn't really expecting them to throw it there, and now we're going to be able to draw a second shield from the Cinderace, and if they try to farm us down, that's fine. We're going to have switch advantage. We can align our Gastrodon against this, and hopefully they don't have a hard answer to our Jumpluff in the back. But they probably do, I guess, if they're staying in this matchup. Maybe they're just kind of comfortable using their Cinderace there and having a hard answer for our Jumpluff later on. But look, in comes an Arctibax of all things. I'm so happy I get to avoid that with our Grass and Flying type Pokemon, and we can go for the Earth Power, nearly one-shot it. Unfortunately, not quite take it out, but it's going to put them into range where I can Mud Slap them down, shield up this potential Avalanche. It might be an Icy Wind or a Dragon Claw. Looks like it is actually an Icy Wind, so our attack is going to be lowered, but that is not going to matter when the Ampharos is going to come in here. We knocked out that Arctibax, we knocked out that Cinderace, and now we're getting a full sweep with Gastrodon, one-shotting an Ampharos, even though we're debuffed with Earth Power. GG's to our opponent. Fantastic game. Very, very spicy team. Alright, next matchup, Shadow Jumpluff into the Mandibuzz. Okay, very uncomfortable matchup because Gastrodon doesn't want to be here, and our Dunsparce is a much better matchup, but we don't really want to swap out because if we swap out, they might swap out too and make it so that we don't get the alignment we want. With that said, though, Fairy Wind does add up against these Dark-type Pokemon. Aerial Ace as well, even though it's not super effective here, it's a very neutral move. It can do a lot of damage over time to this Mandibuzz. They're going to throw an ace of their own at us. I know I can get 3 aerial aces off, plus my fast move pressure, make it so this is not going to be anywhere near as big a concern for our Gastrodon later on, and I can survive these 2 aerial aces from this opposing Mandibuzz. I really like Jumpluff because of how bulky it is. Even though we're a Shadow Pokemon here, it's still one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game. Very spammy as well. You can see just how quickly we're getting to these moves. I go for the CMP here because I wanted to make sure I could get this move off. I was fine giving them a sneak if I happened to do that, but it looks like we did get the proper CMP, and now we're wasting all of this Mandibuzz's energy. We can farm them down with our Dunsparce, and hopefully Gastrodon in the back is going to have a lot of play. It's really going to depend on the backline to see if we can still win this game or not. And in comes a Machamp. Okay, well, that's absolutely terrible to see. Machamp, one of the most offensive Pokemon in the game, one of the best answers to our Dunsparce as well. So this is not looking great. We have to let this move go, and I kind of have to hope at this point that the final Pokemon is going to be weak to Gastrodon. It is, but they ended up making a fantastic catch on their Toxapex with our Body Slam. That is a lot of wasted energy on my end. If I would have gone for the Earth Power and farmed down, I think I would would have had a much better shot at winning this game, but these poison jabs are adding up. I have my Dunsparce into that Shadow Machamp. Is there any way we're going to be able to win this game? If there is, it's going to be by going for an Earth Power here at the last second. We have a Body Slam loaded as well, so if they let this move through, I can land a Body Slam against that Machamp and maybe draw a shield from them as well and make it so our Dunsparce can still win this game. Body Slam will come through. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to do enough that they have to shield, right? I guess they choose not to. I have to now go for a bold rollout down against a Shadow Machamp. It's resisted rollouts. They don't do any damage, but Shadow Machamp is kind of squishy. There is a small chance we can survive one cross chop. If we can survive this move, Dunsparce might actually be able to fast move this down and win us the game. Come on, Dunsparce, can you do it? Just barely taking the win there, rollouting down a Shadow Machamp. GG's to our opponent. All right, next game, Shadow Jumpluff into Superior. Finally, a bit of a break on these leads. One of the best leads we could see because our Gastrodon really doesn't want to see this. And we also can outpace them here to these Aerial Aces. And we have Stab while they don't have Stab on their own Aerial Ace. So we can two-shot them. They cannot two-shot us. And we also avoid this with our Dunsparce. Dunsparce wouldn't really want to be against this. Anything you have to throw Rock-type damage into the opponents with Dunsparce is not the best matchup to see. I wait a turn, make sure they don't catch. I know that might be a try-hard play here at rank 2 or whatever we're at right now. But I want to make sure that I don't lose this game if I could help it. I don't want to lose games that I don't have to this early on. And they end up trying to make a nice catch with a Clodsire. Luckily, though, we have shield advantage, we have switch advantage, we have our Gastrodon that we can swap into this Clodsire. Not only no shield this move, because I know an Earthquake's not going to one-shot us, but we can farm up, go for the Earth Power, and nearly one-shot this Clodsire. These Mud Slaps do so much damage. At this point, I'm also kind of fine if this doesn't knock them out. I could give up a switch advantage, but I also know I could farm them down. I got a lot of damage against that Superior. Oh, well, that just knocks them out. Honestly, I kind of expected them to survive that. But no, we do get to this Body Slam, and now they do have to throw energy as well. But if this is an Aerial Ace, we survive. Gastrodon is actually very bulky. We get this move off as well. Are they going to shield this, or are they just going to bank on their final Pokemon to try to win them this game? They no shield. Now we have 3 Pokemon against 1. Their final Pokemon comes in. It is a Shadow, Alolan Dugtrio, one of the craziest Pokemon I think I've seen all day. It did get the Mud Slap buff, but we have our Jumpluff here. It's just going to one-shot it with an Energy Ball. GG's to our opponent. Our Dunsparce not even needing to see the light of day that game. All right, next match. This Pokemon is supposed to be dead. What is Altaria doing here? Altaria obviously is a Flying-type Pokemon, a bit scary for our Grass-type, but look how much damage we're doing with our Fairy Winds. Fairy Wind is supposed to be an energy generation move, but we're almost keeping pace with damage just with fast attack pressure against Dragon Breath with this Altaria. We land this first move. Are they going to shield it, or are they going to let it go? This would be a fantastic thing for them to shield here, and they do end up shielding that. That is amazing for us, because now we can get to 2 more moves. Altaria is just so slow nowadays. We get to 3 Aerial Aces before they get to a second Sky Attack, and they double shield their alt. What is going on right now? We land another Aerial Ace. I could shield the next Sky Attack if I wanted to get to another Ace, but at this point, I'm kind of fine just taking shield advantage here, because I know that I can kind of just knock them out with Body Slam at this point, maybe even go for a full rollout down with our Dunsparce if they stay in. If that is the case and we get a ton of energy, Dunsparce energy actually goes quite a ways in most of the matchups that we're going to see. Unless they're running Chestnut or something, nothing really resists both Rock and ground type damage. What is going to come in? Trainer, they didn't not what's going on? They did not get the memo? I guess Skarmory, Altaria core, that is crazy. I mean, first of all, that would be crazy last season, APA to Bastiodon, but it's even crazier this season when both of these Pokemon got nerfed. This is kind of breaking my brain right now, although look how little damage these Rock Slides actually end up doing to the Skarmory. I have to throw 4 moves if I want to knock them out, but luckily they don't throw any energy there. They swap and try to catch a move on their Azu, but I see it coming from a mile away. I have my Gastrodon, which I think we will lose the Zero Shield matchup, but we can keep up quite a bit having this Earth Power as the coverage move. If we were running Water Pulse, then we'd have to go straight Body Slam here, and that's much worse against this Azu. I think we can land both an Earth Power and then also probably a Body Slam as well before they're going to be able to knock us out. But because of the Body Slam nerf that happened this season, I'm not quite sure if this is enough to knock them out still. I'd love it if it was, but it doesn't really matter one way or another. They hang on 1 HP, but now that is a prime rollout downrange, and I think our Dunsparce at this point should be able to get a full sweep once again. We knocked out the ult with it. We can knock out that Azu. We can knock out this Skarmory as well. This is going to be a Dunsparce sweep this game. Skarmory is just so slow to getting to charge moves now, and they cannot bank back-to-back here, so there's no way we lose this game. And now we're going to drill run this, right? Why not? They're running Skarmory. You got to drill run the steel types, right? And in comes that Azu, completing the Dunsparce sweep. GG's to our opponent. All right, next game, we're going to have our Shadow Jumpluff into a Malamar. This Pokemon is actually very strong right now. Look how much fast move pressure they have into us here. Well, I guess they didn't really stay in that whole time, but trust me, it has a lot of fast move pressure with that move. Psywave is basically, I think, Shadow Claw, but a 1-turn attack, so a lot of damage, a lot of energy generation, and in comes that Quillfish as the safe swap. I swapped into my Gastrodon here. Maybe this is a mistake, because I think they are trying to bait out my Gastrodon. There is a good chance it is a Clodsire in the back. If that is the case, though, there is a good chance that we can win this game still still with Dunsparce, although Dunsparce is not actually as strong of an answer to a Clodsire as you might expect it to be. That's because they resist our rollout, and we don't two-shot them with Drill Run. But I think at this point we're still at a decent position here. I go for the Body Slam. That might be a huge misplay on my end. Probably should have just gone for the straight-up Earth Power here, but I went for the Body Slam because I thought maybe I could get to a second. But look at how much fast move pressure they have against us here. That's just kind of my unfamiliarity with this fast move and how much damage it can do. That kind of cost me that move. All right, they do throw a Foul Play. It does a lot of damage as well. Honestly, this is a very offensive Pokemon, and they catch my Aerial Ace on their Clodsire. This is looking absolutely terrible right now, but honestly, I'm kind of happy with that catch in some ways, because I think them catching that move actually does put them into range where 2 Drill Runs would knock them out. They do get to a move. I'm expecting an Earthquake first. If they bait us, then that's totally fine, I guess, but I would really prefer if they just go straight for the moves, and it looks like that time they did just go for the Earthquake. Proper shielding it up will help us out a lot in this matchup. Drill Run will get shielded on our end as well, and now another Drill Run is going to be reached. Dunsparce is so spammy getting to these charge moves, and are they going to double shield their Clodsire? They actually end up shielding it here again, and the switch clock is already up. That right there is the 50-second switch clock for you. It was barely playing out that matchup at all, right? We didn't land a single move against that Clodsire before they could swap out. That is what I love about this new switch timer. It is so dynamic. I had a lot of games today that were kind of played around with these, like, dancing around the switch clock. It was actually a ton of fun. We do get to an Energy Ball after farming down that Malamar. It's going to do a lot of damage here, but it is not going to knock them out, but it will put them in range, where 1 Drill Run will be enough to knock out this Clodsire. I know at this point I survive an Earthquake. It is a very powerful move, but Clodsire is very bulky, and they actually go for the Stone Edge. That kind of makes sense, right? They need to get 3 Stone Edges here to win this game, because an Earthquake won't one-shot us, so they want to go for the double charge moves that they know would knock us out, and another Stone Edge is reached, but I know they can't have back-to-back, and Dunsparce would win that CMP anyway. We go for the Drill Run, and we're going to knock out this Clodsire, finishing out this game very well played by our opponent, but just barely Dunsparce closing it all out. All right, next game, Shadow Jumpluff into a Mew. Okay, well, this can be scary if they have Ice Beam. It's all about counting against Mew to see what move they're going to throw here. If they don't build up to 7, I know it's not an Ice Beam, and that was only 6. That's going to be a Wild Charge at the very most. It's definitely not a Flame Charge either. Is it Wild Charge? Yeah, okay, so it's probably just the standard Mew moveset, that is. Bit of a hard thing to pronounce here, Mew moveset. And here in comes the Altaria. Very interesting that we're seeing another Altaria today. Why are people using this Pokemon? It is supposed to be dead. I swear, it's not a good Pokemon anymore. They do go for the Moonblast. It does a lot of damage, but Dunsparce, it has so much fast move and charge move pressure into this Altaria that I think we're in a decent spot even after they landed that move. We can build up to another Rock Slide. If they want a double shield, I think they probably could farm us down, but that would be pretty catastrophic for our opponent, because if they do that, that's a lot to invest in this Altaria that's basically already knocked out. They realize that, they just let it go. And if that Mew comes in, I think we can put in a lot of work, because they're running Shadow Claw as their fast move, right? Shadow Claw not going to be able to fast move down our Dunsparce here, and we should probably be able to reach 2 moves if they don't throw energy against us. They end up shielding that Drill Run as well. That is amazing, because we already have energy on Jumpluff, and we got a shield, and we force them to throw energy. We are in such a good position, depending on what that final Pokemon might be this game. Jumpluff can come in here. I want to watch out for a catch. We wait a turn, make sure that we can throw this Energy Ball into the Mew. I don't think it would be quite enough to knock them out here, but it will put them so low that we can fast move them down with either Fairy Wind or with Mud Shots. In comes a Beedrill of all things. Very spicy pick. We're going to go for the Aerial Ace. These fast moves are adding up quite a bit, though. I want to swap out. I want to make my Gastrodon come in and go for an Earth Power against this little bee. At this point, I think we are going to be able to easily win this game. We survive any move that they're going to throw, but I'm going to be safe. I'm going to shield it up anyway, and we can go for the Earth Power, knock out this Beedrill, and then fast attack down that Mew. This is looking very strong for us right now. Earth Power is reached. They have no shields left over. It's probably just going to knock this Beedrill out at this point. Yeah, it just gets knocked out there. We Mud Slap down the Mew, but not before they get a parting move off against us. They don't have Grass Knot, right? Surely they don't. No, they just go for the Surf. GG's to them. Very fun team. So yeah, the meta is about as wild as it could be right now. I don't think we saw 2 teams that were even remotely similar today, and that was just my first 10 battles of the season. A 10-0 win streak. Very good way to start off the season, but then the next set I actually kind of followed this up, and I had an instant game freeze, unfortunately, so it broke our streak, but it was a lot of fun still playing today. A very refreshing meta. I definitely recommend, if you haven't played any of the Go Battle League recently, to give it a try. It is a ton of fun. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I actually stream these kinds of battles every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN. So if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. Also, I'm going to upload a lot more to the channel, so if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe. Oh, well, thank you again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.